afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Aubryn's Musiconversation. I am Adam, the guest interviewer tonight, here with Aubryn and Kylie from the Black Rose Betties. Say hello, gals.
Hello.
Hello.
Well, probably the first thing that I'd like to ask you, that everyone would like to know, is how did you two meet and decide to play music together?
We met in college at Stevens College in Columbia, Missouri. We were both theater majors. I was a year ahead of her, and she was my mentizzle.
Yeah.
A mentizzle.
Yes, mentizzle.
It's a program through the Warehouse Theater, which is like the what would you say? Just it's like the off the wall kind of theater company. So everything that you're doing is through a smaller theater, usually student run, and it's just a little program that's set up. But the first time I met her, she brought her guitar, so we were playing songs.
Yeah, because I knew that she played, she wrote and sang and stuff. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, icebreaker.
Indeed. So you were playing, both of you were playing before you started doing theater stuff, or did theater come first?
No, we never really started playing together until you moved to Nashville, really.
Well, I mean, I meant
think
just
he means
playing
in general.
Oh, well, like, individually, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, actually. I did theater first. And it's an interesting story. Like, I was actually like a triple sport athlete, and then all this crazy stuff happened to me, and my whole life changed, and my parents bought me a guitar, and that was the day, that my life really changed. I was in a musical freshman year, but up until then, I didn't want to do what my mom did. I didn't want to entertain,
And your mother was a singer too?
She was a singer, and she did theater, so even the theater thing was a little like, that's what she did, that was her thing. So,
right.
I see. Wow, that's quite a transition there from sports to music. So, what made the two of you, when did the two of you decide to start singing together?
This was the second time you came to visit, and you came to visit without your parents.
Yeah.
And I finished writing Living for Goodbye, sitting on this couch with you next to me, singing harmony. And that's when I was like, okay, we have to do this. I have to convince her to move to Nashville because I really wanted to be in a duo with her.
So what took so long?
For me to move to Nashville?
Well, yeah, for you two to start. How come you two didn't start playing together while you were in school?
Well, I don't
We didn't really hang out.
Yeah, we didn't really hang out in college that much. Like, we did, but not really. It was, like, at parties.
Yeah.
Like, we hung out at our friend Ben's house.
Like, we were friends, but we only saw each other every once in a while.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
And,
yeah, we were more, like, acquaintances that hung out a lot, actually. Because we actually did hang out quite a bit, like, looking back on it. But we just never really had any bonding.
Well, we hung out around other people. We never really hung out much, like, one-on-one.
Yeah, no, never, really.
Except for when we met.
Why. Yeah.
So
that's probably why.
Indeed. So, what made music the choice over theater? Now, neither of you are doing any acting right now, are you? So, why music instead of theater?
I have a really good answer for that. Basically, what happened to me is after we did Okoboji, the summer theater, and everything like that, I did the Midwest theater auditions, and I did land. I had 2 professional contract offers, and I took one of them. And then after that, and I still loved it. I still love theater. But the problem is I was broke. I didn't have a car. I moved home, and then I lived close to Chicago, but not close enough to the point where it was easy for me to get to auditions.
And what's different about that from being a musician? You're not having a car.
Big difference because actually you can always have your job during the day and play shows at night. For theater, you're expected to sit around all day in a room, and you may or may not get seen that day for an audition. Because if you're not equity, you have to sit there and wait for your turn. So that was the big deciding factor, is that I couldn't do it. I didn't have the time or the means to get into a city and still maintain a job and be up there all day long.
Yeah, it's also a lot easier, I feel like, to get jobs as a musician, you know, and play
Yeah.
all the time, as opposed to having to go to all kinds of auditions for theater and maybe or maybe not getting in, and then having to go to another one and just, you know, to find work. And with music, you could actually potentially do it full time. I mean, I know a lot of people who are doing that. So,
Yeah.
Well, guess the acting world's loss is the music world's gain. It's only one album. You're not on a desert island, but the nuclear war has happened, and every album except for this one record has been destroyed. What is it?
I've got like two in mind that I'm kind of going back and forth.
Nope, only one.
I know, but if I can only choose one,
I don't make the rules. That's just. You know.
Well, I feel like you already know the answer to this question. It's "Heartbreaker" by Ryan Adams.
Up high.
It's an amazing album. Just backwards and forwards, a great album. And I know some people are like, well, the end of the album is it kind of gets really weak, but I don't care. I love that album because it has, it's got so many of my favorite songs on it. And I mean, Winding Wheel and Oh My Sweet Carolina and Amy, and I mean, the list goes on and on. I love that album.
Indeed. And you?
No One Is Really Beautiful by Jude.
Indeed. Why?
Just the songwriting and the way he sings and just the way that the whole thing makes me feel. I love every single song on that album. And I can't say that for all albums.
Indeed. Indeed. All right. So, how would you describe the Black Rose Betty's sound to someone that doesn't necessarily hasn't heard you yet?
Rootsy folk with bluegrassy harmonies.
Yeah, and even some gospel-y kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
You know?
I
We're
can
always
see that.
talking about till the Reaper comes.
I know. We have a lot of death in our songs.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah.
Well, Black Rose Betty's as opposed to Red Rose Betty's, so I
Right.
guess that would make
Or
sense.
white.
There.
White Rose Betty's not nearly as cool.
No.
No?
Maybe you could have it. Maybe it's a side project. that
Yeah.
You could, White Rose Betty's.
White Rose Betty's would
White Rose-
probably sound something like the Polyphonic Spree.
Actually, White Rose Wendy's. There we go.
White Rose Wendy's. I
Hey.
kind of like that. That's cute.
You're welcome. That's on the house.
from
Just saying.
Adam James.
Just saying. Well, I'm just trying to. So, how do you go about deciding what songs to put in? Are you writing some of this? I know you write individually, but are you writing some of these songs together as well, or is
We've
it?
written one song together.
Yeah. But Till the Reaper Comes, we wrote together.
Yeah.
And then we kind of, she's written a lot of songs for the project.
Yeah. I'm
Um,
actually working on some more.
And then, I don't know. I'm just still like very old country in my personal writing style. So unless I'm in a room with somebody else who, you know, it's kind of hard
Who
for
we're
me to write.
specifically writing
Yeah.
towards that sound.
Yeah.
I've been writing that way kind of organically lately, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So where did that come from? Where did that switch come from what you were writing before to writing for the Black Rose Betty's?
I write all kinds of different stuff. Like I've never really stuck with one genre, and I always try to do all kinds of different stuff with my writing, just to see if I can do it and what it sounds like, and just playing with different stuff. And then I kind of got that sound in my head, and I'm like, I know how to do this, and it just kind of came out.
Indeed. So, well, you mentioned learning. Now, what was something that each of you learned that was really important in your growth as a musician?
Well, you know, we've both sung a lot of, we sang in the Velvetones in college.
Yeah.
So, but those are different harmonies.
Vocal
Did you wear
jazz.
this
bow
is-
ties and cummerbunds? Was that a bow ties and cummerbunds?
It was
No.
actually black dresses,
With
red
red accent.
lipstick, yeah,
Oh.
and then a red accent.
Mhm.
So it kind of looked like that Robert Palmer video.
Kind of, basically.
I like that. That. Yeah. Okay. Continue. Mental
But these
image.
harmonies are completely different.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like when you're going into bluegrassy, sometimes dissonant harmonies,
Mhm.
that's something new to train your ear to do.
Mhm.
And I think, especially as somebody who is primarily a vocalist, you know,
Mhm.
it's you need to, I mean, that's why I did what I did for the 2 years that I did it. I just did, playing 4 hours of different covers. Everything from 40s jazz to, like, metal. Like, I did Dio, and I did Danzig,
awesome.
and I did just everything, Stevie Nicks. So it's like, you always need to learn to do something.
Yeah, maybe I should listen to this.
And do it the best you can do it, because
Probably be awesome.
Can't go wrong with Dio.
Dio, I'm telling you right now, is one of the... You can see his stripes, but you know he's clean. I
Nice.
love Dio. He's one of the most talented vocalists, I think, in rock music of all time. I mean,
One of the shortest people in rock music, too.
Shortest, yes. But let's talk about his sustain, his tonality, just everything.
Mhm.
He's amazing.
Mhm.
I feel like he's extremely underrated. More people need to be obsessed with Dio the way that I am. I love Dio.
How about you?
What was the one thing that I've learned?
That you've learned that was important to you that was important to your growth as a musician?
The way you play guitar matters. Because if you just strum chords, and this is also coming from, because I host a writer's night every Monday, and I get to see a bunch of people play, especially at the open mic, and the ones that sound the best get people's attention more, and if you're just strumming the same way every time, for one thing, you're not going to get very much variation in your songs, and it's not going to come across like you want it to. But it also, I don't know where I was going with that. But I mean, that's pretty much, yeah, I mean, you're not going to get the sound across, and it's, when you sound good, people pay attention and they like the songs more, even though it could be a great song, but if you don't play it well.
Yeah, I think also that you can, it can make your choruses and your verses differentiated from each other. When,
Right.
You can create different textures by,
Well, it's
using different strumming patterns or picking patterns, and I think
it's all
that
about dynamics.
Yeah, I think that can really help.
Yeah.
Get your songs across
Right,
a lot.
and that's where I would start if you don't really play guitar very well. Is starting to play a little slower or a little softer in certain parts, and then strum louder in certain parts to add energy, and not necessarily at first having to change everything you're doing on guitar, because I know a lot of people, it's a lot of how do I do this, because there's so much to learn.
Mhm.
But starting with dynamics can really do a lot.
I agree. Dynamics are very important. It's something a lot of musicians don't think as much about.
Yeah, it's really important.
What is all right? Last question. Then we're going to take a break, and we're going to go on to part 2 of the Black Rose Betty's interview. What is one thing that you want people to take away from a performance of yours? I'm asking hardball questions.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
I want people to appreciate more real, rootsy music, because I think it's making a comeback. We've got Shovels and Rope out there, and honestly, their album is, bar none, it's up in my faves now. I listen to it to work every single day in Birmingham. I can listen to that song about 10 times in a row and never be sick of it. Great lines in there, great lyrics, beautiful harmonies, and it's simple, but it's perfect. I wouldn't want it any other way. I don't want a song to always just sound like it's perfectly engineered. I like it to have some character and personality, and that's what I want people to learn, is that this kind of music is where it's at,
I gotta say though, when you said we've got Shovels and Rope out there, I got a little nervous because I didn't know where you were going with that. I just wanted to.
Have you heard them yet?
It's the name of a duo.
I've not heard Shovels.
I'll burn you the album. It's on Third Man. Jack White just signed them, and they're amazing.
Are they from Nashville?
I believe they're from. Well, I don't know if they relocated to Birmingham or what the significance is, but they're They're from the area, from the South. I know that, but they're awesome. They're amazing.
Indeed.
To me, I know. I want people to. I mean, she really said a lot of what I was gonna say, but
It's okay. Well, we can.
I mean, I want to stop the crap that people are listening to,
Yeah.
and be like, you guys, there's more out there. You don't have to just hear what the media feeds you.
So much more to music.
So much more. And I feel like as a community, and the world could be a better place if people got to hear better music.
I can't disagree with that. Alrighty, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with part 2 of the Black Rose Betty's interview. My name is Adam James.